Does goat go swish?
Or does it miss?
Find out on this DadToons review.
DadToons reviews, talking something new. DadToons reviews, I'm a mention peer review. DadToons reviews, we're talking about it all. Doopia being busy, dizzy, television, big and small.
All right, DadToons is officially back. I know it's already been a month into the year, but we are very busy. We are both dads. Braden is now double the dad than he was before.
Yes, you're right. I'm a double dad.
So,
Happy 2026. I'm a double dad.
So congrats on being a double dad. I think
Thank
that's
you.
very notable. And so that means double the dad duties. And
Yes.
so therefore it has been a little difficult to get, in the studio here and recording some fresh insights on new animated content.
Yes, but I was excited to be able to get out of the house this afternoon to sneak away for an early showing of Goat, Steph Curry's Goat.
Yeah, Stephen Curry's goat.
Stephen Curry's Goat. Yes,
Producer Stephen Curry.
Correct. Yes, I noticed that. Everybody calls him Steph Curry, but yes, I noticed he's credited as Stephen Curry. But it was great to be able to get out of the house after it's been a hectic couple of months.
Yeah. So we're back here. Do you want to give a quick rundown of the movie? A little synopsis?
Sure. So Goat is about Will Harris, a young goat who dreams of playing rollerball, which is a sport that is very similar to basketball, except the basketball court has different qualities of the different environments that it's in. So like there's an ice one where the ice cracks, and there's a lava one where the lava cracks and they have to play in lava. He's a little goat. Most of the people who play rollerball are big animals. But he eventually gets to play because the team wants more publicity. And then there's a bit of a power struggle with the old veteran on the team. Her name is Jet, who he admired since childhood. But eventually they all learn to work together as a team. And it's all very moving. And there's a lot of great hip hop music. And that's pretty much it. That's the synopsis.
Yeah, I guess so. He sets out to achieve his dream that he has always dreamt since his childhood. And, we see him accomplish it. This is a spoiler review, by the way. So we're going to get into spoilers very quickly.
Sure.
If you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled, go and watch our spoiler-free review, which we'll link to down in the description.
Another big part of the plot that I missed was his rivalry with the horse. He has a big rivalry with a horse named Main Attraction. So the character, that's one of the first things that jumps out to me is the character design. This is a movie about anthropomorphic animals, and they look great. So they look really good. They're like realistic and cartoony. To me, they walk the line very well. It's Zootopia, right? Like it's like
kind of
Zootopia. It takes place in the Zootopia universe. Like Zootopia already did the groundwork of explaining to us a world where animals coexist, and then this movie's kind of just piggybacking on that. It's kind of how I felt.
Right. I think this one shows off more of the poverty that happens in the animal world than Zootopia does, because And Zootopia is kind of almost like you could just swap it with humans, honestly, and it wouldn't be any different from a human world. This is kind of the same way.
Well, one thing I really liked about this movie was how the animals would behave like animals sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when Maine, the big scary like bad guy horse, like walks like a horse on all fours, is so hilarious. When he's like clop clop, and he's like being intimidating. It was really funny. I think it is
interesting. Yeah, it is interesting too. I mean, obviously the animators had a huge job to do, like making the animals act or walk the way they would walk, but also making them play basketball at the same time as being realistic to the way they would move. So, yeah. Before I even say what I think about the movie, I do think the animation, excellent. excellent.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Very good.
And the character design, I think specifically. The whole time I was like, the animation is different than Zootopia, but it looks like, I think it's the character design is what makes it look so similar to Zootopia, because they have a similar approach to anthropomorphizing the characters, I guess, where they still have a lot of their animal qualities. When you think of the ways you can anthropomorphize animals, there's Zootopia. And then there's like, the show Arthur, where Arthur's apparently an aardvark, but no, he's not. And all of the like
human.
None of them, what animals they are. It doesn't matter what any animals they are.
Yeah,
so,
honestly,
that's one way you could do it.
Yeah, if they didn't say that Arthur was an aardvark, I wouldn't be able to tell he was an aardvark. It'd be
Of course not.
I would think he's like a teddy bear or something like that.
He looks nothing like an aardvark.
Right.
but this movie and Zootopia, I think they embrace the animal. They look very much like the animals they're supposed to be. This may be more so even because they use their animal qualities a lot. And I loved every time that the goat would like eat a can. I just loved the jokes. I loved the jokes about them being their animals they were. I liked that.
One thing I had a question about, because I don't know that much about goats, but like, do they actually like, if you startled a goat, does it actually just like flip upside down and like seize up?
We should look into it, but I think it's a specific kind of goat that does that, and I think it's under a very specific scenario. But I think, yes, that does happen to goats. I don't think it's like every time you scare a goat, it does that. But I thought that part was funny.
It was definitely funny, and it was intended to be funny, and everybody laughed in the theater. But I was just like, it came down to that one shot that he was gonna get because she missed it, and then he was gonna get some playtime. It is nice though that they made it so that way his playtime did not get decided by Jet. She had to foul out before he was able to have his chance.
So I think the story and the writing in this were very good. It's a simple story. It's a sports underdog story.
Yes.
Which is super duper common sports movie story. And
super common story for a movie in general. It's super common for a sports movie in general, but it's not super common in animated movies. There's not a lot of, I don't know if you thought about it, but like there's not a lot of animated sports movies.
I didn't really think about it. Space Jam is what I want to naturally compare this to.
Right.
Space Jam.
Which is also not purely an animated movie.
No, you're right.
It's a hybrid movie.
There were times during the movie where I was thinking about Space Jam and like the way they shoot the basketball, like the actual sport of it. And this movie did it so much better. It looks like you're watching ESPN. Whereas Space Jam, I don't know, didn't look as good. It looked like a Nike commercial, I guess, by comparison. This movie does a good job at the sports, like making it feel like I'm watching sports.
The sports movie excelled at the sports. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah,
but I mean, you make a great point about there not being a lot of sports animated movies. I can't think of one.
Well, I made a list of all the American-made animated sports team movies that have ever been made, and it's a very short list.
So this is every American-made animated sports movie ever
that are focused on team sports specifically. Because if you focus on just sports in general, there's a gray line there where like Cars could be a sports movie. It technically is. I wanted the truest representation of a sports movie, which is a team sport movie. Like, Remember the Titans is a sport movie, Yep.
Rudy is one I think of.
Yeah. Even like The Sandlot, it's a kids, family movie, but it's about sports specifically, and it's about a team. You know what I mean? So I put together a list. There's only six movies that match this. And
okay, I'm fascinated.
Yeah, first one we already mentioned, Space Jam, 1996. Space Jam 2, A New Legacy, 2021. There's a movie about baseball called Everyone's Hero. I've not watched that one. I think I recall what it looks like.
Yes, I've never seen it, but I can imagine the like DVD cover.
There's a movie called Rumble, and it's about a monster wrestling league. So, I guess wrestling can also be a team sport. Back in 1980, there was a movie called Animal Olympics, and that's really a gray line there too, because like the only team sports that are really in the Animal Olympics part is like soccer. It's like a cut together clips, right?
Yeah.
And then so the only other one is GOAT. So I think we are well due for a good animated sports movie, and I think honestly, I think this one really delivers on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't realize there were so few animated sports movies. But while I was watching this movie, I did have the thought where I was like, I wouldn't have said that I like sports movies and I don't like seek them out. But every time I see one, I like it and I enjoy it. And it always leaves me feeling like good and excited. Like, yeah, remember
Pumped
the Titans?
up.
That's a great movie. Yeah. And like, and there is a formula and you know what's going to happen. Like, there's going to be the big game and they're either going to win the big game or they're not going to win the big game. But either way, they're going to be happy. That's
and there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. And, they're going to be upset at some point, and then they're going to rah and get back up, and they're going to do the thing.
And I think in this movie specifically, the score is perfect for the amount of tension you want the story to have. And like that probably doesn't happen in real life that much.
There's a lot of fun montages throughout the movie. There's specifically towards the end where the team is getting sold and they're all angry and sad. You have what song was that they played? Hey now.
Oh yes.
And you see all the characters from the team just living their sad lives. You see the rhino getting his face painted by his daughters.
The soundtrack was great, and there was something about this movie that felt like more modern than a lot of animation, and it like the soundtrack was very contemporary, very much like Spider-Verse, which I know is the same studio.
Yeah. I mean, so the Spider-Verse really kicked off this trend of like painted or just like different type of animation that isn't like super clean. It's got more artistic flavor. They're more experimental. They're not afraid to try different things or show off things differently than they normally would in like a Pixar movie. I think they've been doing a really good job of like tailoring it to each movie, because you have the Spider-Verse movies. They tried something in the first one. They took it even further with the second Spider-Verse movie. And then K-pop Demon Hunters also brings a lot of like anime flavor into the mix. And that's specific to that movie. And then now we have this one. And it's hard to like really pinpoint specifically in this one what it looks like. I guess it looks kind of painterly. It doesn't look like sketched out like Ninja Turtles, for example.
Yeah. Which wasn't Sony, right? It was just, they were just kind of copying it.
Yeah, they're riding the wave of that trend. But yeah, so they just went kind of really deep into that, hand drawn like a teenager kind of thing.
Sure. I felt like this style in this movie was kind of like a cross between Spider-Verse and Zootopia. It was like kind of that rough sketch animation, but also like kind of that clean Disney Pixar type stuff where it felt like those two kind of combined, or it felt like the next step, the marriage between those two kinds of styles. And I liked it.
Well, here's another thing. They clearly took a lot of inspiration from like actual sports channels like ESPN,
Yes.
Fox Sports, all that. Like, cause when they're doing all the sports channel things, and they're like recording their promo, and you got all the graphics on screen and the dramatic lighting and everything. It's like, it just feels like you're watching a sports channel, which is perfect, obviously. And this is probably why it was great that Steph Curry is the producer of this movie, is he was able to be like, no, this is the way it should look. This is the way the locker room should look. This is the way the courts should look. It all has a high level of really authenticity, even when we're not even specifically talking about basketball. This is Roarball. It's a parody of basketball. It is basketball.
It is basketball
at its core.
Yes. But I liked that it wasn't basketball because they could make it anything they wanted. Like, as soon as I realized that it wasn't basketball, I was excited because I was like, oh, good. Because they don't have to follow the rules because there aren't any. They can make it up.
Yeah. I mean, if they had to specifically follow the rules of basketball, it wouldn't have been quite as exciting, I think.
I think that's a problem with sports movies sometimes. Probably a problem that people run into when making sports movies is that you have to consider the game, and that sometimes that gets in the way of your plot. And when you're making up the game, you don't have to worry about it so much. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest problem I had with Air Bud. There wasn't enough lava.
Air Bud really would have benefited from more lava, actually.
There weren't enough stalactites and stalagmites like falling from the ceiling and smashing players. Yeah.
Yeah. That was missing from Angels in the Outfield too. I remember.
Oh man, Angels in the Outfield, Angels in the End Zone. I loved those movies as a kid too.
I loved Angels in the Outfield. I never saw the End Zone one.
So I'm pretty sure End Zone was a TV movie.
Oh, okay.
They put it on Wonderful World of Disney on like a Sunday night. So I think the most times I had watched it was because I had like recorded it on a VHS and watched it every now and then. So to me, it was a movie, I didn't know whether or not it was, in theaters or not in theaters. To me, it was a movie.
Yeah.
And I remember it being pretty decent, but I haven't looked back at it yet.
So you were talking about realism in basketball and how Steph Curry's experience helps with that realism. I was also really impressed by the realism of everything else. Like, Will lives in an apartment and he can't afford the rent, and just like that all felt so real. And like his job at the diner, where like everybody at the diner loves him, and like he's struggling, and just like it all felt so genuine and real. And just that part of like urban life and not having enough money and having a dream. Like, I feel like you don't see that in animation a whole lot.
Yeah, especially with a kids movie. I think they don't really want to, like I mentioned poverty a little bit earlier. Like they don't usually want to focus on the poverty and then in this rags to riches story, I don't think.
I liked that his landlord felt bad about evicting him. I liked that his landlord, and I liked that his landlord had hundreds of children, and they were like, he was getting more and more every time.
And the wife was like, honey, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, yay.
Yes, that was great. So did you know right away that was Wayne Knight? Or?
Oh, yes. I wasn't sure if you were going to notice it or not. I was going to bring it up. But, we've only had now 6 animated sports movies, and he's been in technically 2 of them. One of them was a hybrid animation movie.
Was he not in? Is he not in Space Jam 2? It seems like he should be.
I think he's if he's not physically in it, and I only watched Space Jam 2 like one time because it's that bad. But if he's not physically in it, I'm pretty sure he does some voices in that movie. He's very. I mean, we've noted it before, he's friend of the show because we talk about
friend of the show, Wayne Knight. Yes.
Yeah. But he's very close to Looney Tunes for some reason. And he does a lot of cartoon voices. So it's no surprise that he shows up here.
I feel like he's got to be an animation fan. I feel like he must be.
Well, he's got such an iconic voice too. That's the thing. Like, if you want a Wayne Knight voice, you get Wayne Knight, right?
Yeah, it was great. And so that brings another point. I think for the most part, the voices were very well cast. They were excellently cast. I had a moment where the coach, voiced by Patton Oswalt,
Yeah.
I was like, this voice doesn't fit the character. Like the voice coming out of the mouth doesn't fit the character. But then the movie kept going and I changed my mind. Like, and then towards the end when he's like, oh, it's been a long time since I played on my college league, but I guess I'll give it a try. And like, I was like on his side and like, I was like, yes, okay, that makes sense. It sounds right.
Speaking of that, so I could agree with you that like first I was like iffy about it and then you grew into it. Yeah. It's a little distracting just to hear Patton Oswalt in anything because he has a distinct voice, and for some reason it worked very well in Ratatouille, and I never get distracted by his voice in Ratatouille. I did get distracted here. Just it's Patton Oswalt, and maybe it's because they casted him as like a nerdy guy. You know what I mean?
Here's what I think it might be. I think in Ratatouille, he's acting a little more. He's more of a character and he's less of himself.
Yeah, he's Remy. He's not being Patton. Yeah.
And in this, he's kind of being Patton.
Yeah. I really like that scene where Jet comes and she's like, guess what? You're the coach now. And then he's like, I've dreamed this day would come. And
yes.
His little speech was amazing. I loved it so much. He goes, I've been watching, waiting, learning for this day. We're going to rip the hearts out. So I can't remember exactly what he said at that point, but it was just like, man, that scene was so good. People were, the team was like getting scared of him, and like just the way they animated him was so tense and like good. I do wish that I wish they kind of showed us another moment like that later in the movie, you know, like maybe it's part of the final game, like after Jet, you know, is injured and she's taken out. But you know, it is what it is.
My favorite scene, I think the best scene in the movie, is when Will takes Jet to the diner that he used to work at. And they all see how, and Jet sees how loved she is by her fans and by the city. Like, that was such a good scene. And how when he like admits to her that he was the delivery boy, I don't know. Like, I really liked that a whole lot. It's the heart of the movie, I thought.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that really, like, for lack of a better term, humanizes her, you know?
Yeah.
Because that whole time she's just focused on, you know, being the best, because that's what she is. She's the greatest of all time, but she still has to, she's old, and so she has to prove herself. But yeah, at that point, she's finally like given in and embraced Will, which is great. Let's talk about some favorite characters that showed up. What's your favorite character in this movie?
Well, my favorite character is Will, the main character, the goat. I loved him. He's my favorite character, but I really liked Maine, the bad guy horse. Yeah. I thought was great. I thought he was hilarious. Every time he was on screen was a lot of fun. I really liked his song Goat Tears. And I also like the ostrich on the team. What's her name?
Olivia.
She was great. I wish, in fact, one of my complaints is that they didn't she wasn't in it more, or they didn't explore her character more, because she was really funny and great.
I would say I think they represented her well, because she had a whole arc, you know?
Okay.
She had a whole arc, like she was getting clowned on and all kinds of things, and then like people were making fun of her because she like couldn't fly, and like that got to her, and she was obsessed with social media, you know. And when Patton Oswalt's Bonobo when he when he tears the gloves off, and takes away her phone. I love that scene where he takes away her phone and she pops back up with another phone.
Like immediately.
Yeah, and she's like putting her beak like right on it. I don't know why. But she was very funny throughout. But the whole she gets that arc at the end, where she gets that opportunity and she starts running as fast as she can and she jumps. And the two rhinos are like, she can fly, and and Maine is like, she can fly, and he had that big look of terror on his face, which was hilarious. So I do think they represented her well. One character I want to highlight here is Moto. Moto is very fun and silly.
So he was probably my least favorite.
That's funny.
He was just probably my least favorite character.
Let me guess. Is it because he is just kind of like an agent of chaos and he was just kind of doing things to make, things on screen interesting?
I kind of felt like they're telling us he's this weirdo, but we don't really see it. He's a lizard and he's kind of weird, but he loses his skin. I guess that's gross.
A lot. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I feel like he didn't earn his reputation, and like I could tell what they were trying to do with the character, and it just wasn't working with me. I felt like they were trying too hard to be like, this is the funny weirdo, and it wasn't working.
I guess I think they do have to have a loose cannon on the team. So like, I don't know what if it wasn't him, like what would they have had on the team? Like he's kind of like the Taz of the team, right?
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like the Taz, yeah. But I'm not a sports guy, so I do appreciate you putting it in terms I understand.
Cartoon terms. Yeah. Most of the times that I laughed are like when he was being weird. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Obviously, like, we have different tastes here, but I enjoyed the character because I also thought he was creepy. He's being weird and creepy, and like he was a loose cannon, like I mentioned. So, I enjoyed it. I also kind of enjoyed like the Deus Ex Machina of him having won the team against the new owner in an Uno match.
You liked that?
I kind of liked that because I mean, in some way, I think the movie had to end with them getting the team back, right?
I mean, I kind of thought it was going to end with the team moving, but them staying on the team, which is like a loss and a win. And I think that would have been a good ending. I think that would have been
fine. Yeah.
I did not like the Deus Ex Machina. I bought the team, everybody. Oh, stop being sad. I bought the team right here 2 minutes before the movie's over.
Yeah.
No, I didn't like that. That was like the one big thing I didn't like. But yeah, endings are hard.
So now that we talked a little bit about the things that, bugged me a little bit, might as well get into the nitpicks here.
Yeah.
Nitpicks. Come and get your nitpicks.
All right. So let's start with this kind of small things. There are 3 Mercedes logos right in the middle of the screen throughout the movie. Yes. I don't know if you flagged that.
That was one of my nitpicks too. The Mercedes product placement is overt.
Yeah. Did you see this?
Yes.
It's right. It's like full screen.
It's annoying. Like, I'm okay. I don't hate product placement. I'm not one of these people who's like, you put a logo in the movie and I think you're a sellout. But you got to make it feel organic. Yeah. You got to put a little bit of artistry in it and not make it feel like a commercial, and they did a bad job. So I agree.
Well, it makes
also
me think
Under
that
Armour.
Yeah, I was going to mention Under Armour too.
Go ahead.
You see the Under Armour logo like so many times you can't even count it. You see the Mercedes logo 3 times, but Under Armour is just like bum 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 bum. It's all over the screen. Like they're all wearing it on their jackets and everything. I get it. I get why.
It bothers me less because it's more organic. They would be wearing that. That is what they wear. It is, they do shove it in your face a little bit, but it bothers me less than the Mercedes one for whatever reason.
Wouldn't it have made more sense if they made specific logos that were like parodies of those logos, but were like animalized in a way?
That's a reason why it's annoying, because like everything else in the movie is animalized, or like there's an animal version of the real human version, but not that. So yes, that makes it stand out. And in fact, I kept looking at the Mercedes logo thinking there was some kind of a parody in it, and like, what's the joke? And it's just the regular logo.
No. Yeah, and the first time they show it is Jet. She's in her like, fancy mansion and everything, and she hops in her car and she's driving real fast, and they gotta spin around the car, and you get the big Mercedes in the front, obviously, like she's rich and all that. But and that I could have let that slide, but like they did it two more times where like the camera, it's right in the center of the camera, and the camera is going around the car. It's like I agree
with you.
It makes me wonder if Mercedes was like, all right, we're going to pay for product placement, but it's got to be right up in your face.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. There probably were conversations like that. And when you're in animation, I feel like with product placement in animation, you can be way more overt about it, because you don't have to worry about the real world physicality. You know what I mean? You can put the logo on screen as much as you humanly possible, because it's all made up.
The Mercedes logo can be a character walking around.
Yes, exactly. You can
be the main character.
Yes. The Mercedes logo movie starring TJ Miller coming to a theater near you.
That's going to be his comeback for sure.
That'll be his comeback.
Hollywood's going to embrace him back when he gets into the Mercedes movie.
He would be a good voice for the Mercedes logo, actually.
Hot off of the Emoji movie. Here's another nitpick. Why is it called Roarball when there's still baskets? Where did they roar?
Also, roaring is not involved in it. Yes, I agree with that. I like that it's not basketball, but Roarball, when you think about it, doesn't really make any sense.
Roar is also very specific to like specific animals, not just large animals. Not all large animals roar, right?
Yeah.
So like
yes,
a horse does not roar.
Or a giraffe.
Right.
Yeah. So one of my nitpicks is it seems like all the teams have themes. Yes. Like in Who's on the Team, they all have themes. Like there's one that's all like, there's one that was all apes or something. And, but not the Thorns. The Thorns are just a bunch of randos put together. Why do the teams all seem to be themed except this main team? That was a nitpick that I had.
Yeah, that's a good question. And like, that's the thing too. Like you have different levels of skill in different areas, and like, okay, so the Shivers only play in this ice stadium.
Yeah, how does that work? And it's a huge home field advantage.
Very much
I guess
so.
that's part of the game, I guess. But yeah.
Well, that brings me to another nitpick. It's like, okay, how are there consistent rules in this game when the hazards are always changing every game?
Yes. Well, and they don't really tell you the rules of the game. They don't tell you anything about Roarball, really. They tell you that the stadium changes. That's like the only thing they tell you about Roarball. You're just supposed to assume it's basketball. You're just supposed to assume it. And they're not going to say it's basketball but not, because that would ruin the immersion. But but you're just supposed to assume it's basketball, and you're just supposed to assume this takes place in Zootopia. I really think you're just supposed to think that.
Yeah, I mean, they still have cars and all that stuff. They've got phones. They've got technology. I want to know who made all this technology. Are there specific animals that make all the technology?
Yeah, and well, in Zootopia, the species are separated in like there's different parts of town where like the rodents live, and there's a part of town where, but in this they're all kind of mixed together, which is good. And they don't have the predator and prey racism, but it's the small and big is like, which I like better.
Okay, another nitpick here. So when they call him a small at the end, I think Maine calls him a small or something, and the rhino, I don't remember what the rhino's name is.
David Harbour.
David Harbour, the rhino. He goes, he's not small, he's medium. And then he just like, that's not, I think they could have come up with a better phrase.
But that is not the first time they make that distinction that he's a medium. They mentioned
it isn't?
No, that comes up a few times.
Okay.
But it's a good nitpick though, because are there really these distinctions in this society, small, medium, small, or is it just big and small, and medium is like him empowering himself? Like, I was confused by that.
Well, and honestly, if that is the case, why do the small ones not have their own roar ball? Why do the mediums not have their own roar? They're different.
Hey, man,
they're different weight classes. They're different weight classes. You could definitely separate them.
I'm not touching that. I think everybody should play together.
Everybody should be able to play roar ball.
Yeah,
and that is one thing. The gender, they made sure that all genders were accounted for on the team. We don't separate the genders.
Yes,
they didn't want to deal with that.
Well, they're not well, so it's logically consistent. They're not separating species, so of course they're not going to separate gender.
Right? Yeah.
It'd
be a whole lot more complicated for sure.
It seemed like there was just the rule: no smalls. Smalls can't ball. But
smalls can't ball.
Smalls can't ball. Everybody knows that.
Take it
it's the
from
fundamental rule of our ordinary world is that smalls can't ball.
Smalls cannot ball. This is kind of a bigger nitpick, honestly. Did Will have flaws? Did they show off any flaws? Did they show off any character development? Because I came out of the movie and I'm like trying to think of like, was there any point in time where he was flawed and he had to overcome that? And I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of characters in the movie have arcs. I mentioned Olivia. Obviously, Jet has an arc. I mean, are there other ones? I'm trying to think. I think the Rhino is pretty much the same the whole time.
I guess he kind of just is able to enjoy his life more. Like, I really liked the message of like, once everybody on the team is nice to each other, the team does better. Like, I really liked that. And like, when everybody feels good about themselves, they do a better job. And it's like managers in offices need to watch that.
For sure. Yeah.
So I think the arc is the team more than it is the characters. So the team is the arc. So Will, his arc is that he goes from being poor to being not poor. He goes from being not successful to being successful. But he does all the same stuff the whole time. He doesn't,
just because he's
really
perfect
change
at what he does.
So maybe it is a little bit a non-conventional story in that we're experiencing the story through the team instead of through this one character. So maybe the character arc is for the team and not for Will. Because I do agree with you. Will doesn't really change a whole lot. His life gets better.
At all.
His life gets better. He gets happier.
Well, you could. there's a way they could have, like, you know, he gets a little cocky, you know, obviously, like he rockets to success. That usually comes with cockiness, right? So like they could have put that in there. I get why they didn't.
I feel like there were sprinkles of that there, like in the promo shooting scene, he seemed confident, or like right before that, like I feel like they had parts where, or the part where they're doing the trick shots where he seemed a little cocky.
I think in general he came off as humble most of the time. In my eyes, it seemed like the characters with flaws, Jet was like the main thing. Like she's the main one that had flaws that needed to overcome that. And that's fine. Just like his only flaw was being small, from being physically small. Yeah. And it's just like that never got him down. He never got upset about that when people called him small. He was just always focused on his goal. I mean, it's a good message, I guess. Just persistence pays off. You know, believing in yourself pays off. But I do like the message. That's a great point.
But you have a good point. I feel like the main character doesn't really change that much, and the main character is supposed to change. But it doesn't bother me. I feel like the team is what we see change. Yeah. I feel like, and I liked it. So, but I think you're right to flag that.
Yeah, I guess I brought it up because like I did like the movie a lot, and I felt that there was a good just overall flow to the movie. I thought there was like twists and turns, and like it kept you on the edge of your seat, and you know, you felt satisfied at the end. And it just made me think when I walked out, and I'm like, what was his arc? You know, what did he overcome? Yeah. Obviously he overcame a lot, like being poor is overcoming a lot. But like another nitpick here. Yeah. He gets success way too quickly. You know, he gets filmed in one basketball fight and that goes viral, and now he's on the team.
And it was kind of confusing to me how that all came to be. What, like an NBA player is just going to go to a random basketball court in a city and say, all right, anybody come play me right now? Like, is that something that really happens? Is that realistic? So. I don't know. I don't think so.
I really don't think so. So yeah, a little confusing, that whole situation there. Another nitpick. Why did the mom have to die? We're on record here, you know, as criticizing a lot of movies, specifically Disney movies a lot of the time, for killing off the parents just to have emotional impact. I kind of feel like it's the same way here.
Oh, man. I don't want you to be right, because I loved that the mom was dead. It just worked so well on me. It just worked so well. The mom was dead. It just worked so well on me because, like, from minute one, like the scene, oh man, the scene where she takes him to see the billboard, you know, and she's like, oh, but we're going to see the game. And then he like bursts into tears. Oh,
I love that scene.
That got to me so much. And then when we kind of figure out that she's dead, like they don't say it explicitly until later. We figure out that she's dead.
He's living alone in poverty, can't pay his rent. Yeah, where's the mom kind of figure it out? Yeah. And
then that's when you figure out that, and I liked it, and I think it was necessary for his mom to be dead, because he has to be like because if his mom wasn't dead, it would be a movie about his really supportive mom taking him to basketball practice, and like that's not a fun movie.
He needs to be in actual poverty with like, no support.
Sure. You could be a kid with a supportive single mom that takes you to basketball practice, and you do really well in basketball. You get a good scholarship. And then maybe you become a professional basketball player. That's not a fun movie. Your mom taking you to basketball practice every Friday. That's not fun to watch.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't know if I was, when I watched the movie and I was like, oh, the mom died. I was like, okay, does this mean that Steph Curry's mom died and this is like kind of a quasi, you know, story about his life, which would have made sense to me. But his mom is alive and well. His dad is alive and well. They're doing very well for themselves.
So you brought up a good point, though, is that going into this movie, I thought this was going to be an animated Steph Curry biography.
Right.
I was really happy that it wasn't that, and it's very quickly that I figured out it wasn't going to be that. And I was relieved.
Yeah, I was too. I was assuming that it was a biography, honestly, like just a quasi biography, right? But yeah, I think the movie just it works really well. It's just like I am very tired of just this need for emotional manipulation by just being like, guess what? His mom, she's dead.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it felt different in this movie than it does in like Disney movies. This movie felt, but maybe because it's a sports movie, it felt less like those cartoons and more like a live action movie in a lot of ways. So like I didn't clock the dead mom as like, oh, another Disney dead mom. Like it didn't feel like that to me. It felt like a good motivator for this character.
Yeah, I mean, your mom's dead. You don't have anybody in your life. Like, what else are you going to do? You got to play basketball. You got to get good at basketball. That's the only way you're going to get out of poverty.
And also, if you're a goat, you have to be the only goat ever to do it also. Like, that's important,
right. Yeah,
too.
You have to be the first goat ever to play in Roarball, for sure.
You have to change people's perception of the sport.
Yes.
So no big deal. So speaking of being the first to do things, I have some fun facts about the director. So let's get into fun facts.
All right, great.
Fun fact.
Okay,
Fun fact,
was
fun
that
fact,
smooth?
fun fact.
Okay. So this was directed by Tyree Dillahay.
Okay.
And co-directed by a guy named Adam Rosette.
Okay.
So neither one of them have directed a film before. But Tyree Dillahay, the director, directed 32 episodes of Bob's Burgers.
Oh, hell yeah. We love Bob's Burgers.
Isn't that cool? Seasons 3 through 9. This guy was a director, and I looked through the list of episodes he directed, and it's like a lot of the best ones. A lot of bangers are on there. And that makes sense to me tonally because Bob's Burgers is like super wholesome, and it just kind of feels like a warm hug, and everybody on there is like loves each other. And there was like specks of that in this, right?
There's a lot of wholesome stuff. You know, we didn't talk about like his friends, but there's a lot of good moments like between him and his friends. Like they're sharing in his excitement as he becomes a player on the team. They're supporting him when he feels down about himself because they won't let him play. Like they're there. They're his support, channel that whole time. I like it.
And so Tyree, he directed 32 episodes of Bob's Burgers and 2 episodes of Alan Gregory. Remember Alan Gregory?
Alan Gregory. I don't think I remember Alan Gregory.
So we watched Alan Gregory. What would it have been on Briggs? I remember watching it. It was on the couch we stole from the basement.
Oh, this is the Jonah Hill show. Yeah.
Yes, I remember watching it. And I remember us both being like, no, this ain't happening.
Yeah, it was very bad. Yeah, it was just like a Richie Rich kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, it was, I think it was just like, they were like, what if we made Stewie the whole show? They were like, Stewie from Family Guy seems popular. Let's see if we can make that the whole show. And let's cast the guy from Superbad. And it did not work.
Yeah, and it only lasted how many episodes? One season, 7 episodes. That's in total. 7 episodes, Alan Gregory. That's why I did not remember it.
Yeah. But we might have watched the entire series, actually.
Probably, yeah.
We might have, yeah. But it's interesting to me that these are two guys that have never done a feature before. It looks like mostly never like computer animation like this. And they pulled it the heck off. Like, these are two guys with not a ton of experience. And
well, I will say that Sony Pictures Animation has been killing it lately. Like, they know what they're doing. They are really leaning into styles, and like they have actual programmers that are creating new things, new ways of making these visuals. So they're creating completely new types of programs to be able to animate this stuff.
That's good. I like that animation is being innovated in some way. Yeah. I'm a little bummed that it seems like this is now how all animation is going to look for a little while, because yeah, Kinda. Like Ninja Turtles, it was like took the style a little bit. We talked about Flow. One of our first movies we reviewed on DadToons Reviews was Flow, which has a similar kind of painterly style. So I like that, like, it's a different direction for computer animation, and we're not looking at stuff that looks like Shrek forever.
Yeah, I'm tired of the clean look, but I get your point. Like,
but now are we gonna have to look at stuff that looks like Spider-Verse for the next 20 years? Like, I like it, but variety is the spice of life.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll find out. I mean, we still have things coming out, computer animated movies, like, you know, Hoppers is coming soon. We're definitely going to cover that. Pixar's Hoppers, which does not have a style like this. It is kind of more in between this and, you know, Toy Story. So it's not like
Pixar kind of has their own visual style.
They do, but they definitely have evolved, you know, and they definitely adapt when they need to. I am very tired of the clean look, though. Like, for example, there was a movie that they played a trailer for before this movie called The Pout Pout Fish with Nick Offerman. I don't know if you saw that trailer.
I didn't. I was late. I got in like right before the movie started.
Well, the Pout Pout Fish very much looks like Shark Tale or something like that. And so, you know, not high hopes for that, but it is Nick Offerman. The thing is, it's kind of the way it sounded like they were just banking on Nick Offerman selling the movie. So we'll see if that ends up any good or not.
Huh. Okay, so fun facts. Steph Curry is an executive producer on this movie. Steph Curry, for those of you who are cartoon nerds, Steph Curry is a basketball player. He early in his career, he was known for being short, for his short stature. It was a big talking point early on in his career, till people saw how good he was. That was the thing everybody was talking about. And like, once he started blowing up, that was the exciting thing. He's 6'2".
I love that.
I'm 5'5". Like, he's tall compared to me.
Yeah, I'm 6 foot, so I would be short if I played basketball. I love it.
But that's part. So that's like part of like the inspiration of this. So Steph Curry got involved with this just because he has had a production deal with Sony for like 10 years. And then somebody brought this movie idea to them and they connected it and it made perfect sense with Steph Curry's deal. So that's kind of how it came to be. And he, as a producer, he got to put his fingerprint on it. And I don't know how much of it is like Steph Curry inspired, but I do know a big thing about Steph Curry is that he writes things on his shoes, inspiring things on his shoes, usually Bible verses.
Okay.
But it's like a different one every game, or he mixes it up. It's not the same phrase every time. He writes inspiring things on his shoes, and the character in Goat does that too.
Right. He writes "Dream Big" right on his shoe.
Yes. Yeah, and I would like to hear from somebody who knows more about basketball because I wonder if there's more like Easter eggs, if there's more like references to Steph Curry or to like basketball that like me as like not a big sports nerd might not have got. But I wonder if
there's gotta be. If you are a basketball nerd, please put some of those Easter eggs in the comments. We'd love to hear them.
So yeah, Steph Curry, we mentioned, it voices the giraffe, and he was cast as the giraffe against type because he's known as being a short basketball player. So it's a joke to cast him as the giraffe.
It was hilarious.
And so about 10 years ago, this is another fun fact.
Okay.
About 10 years ago, I was a substitute teacher. And I was substitute teaching a science class. And this kid came up to me and said, "Has anybody ever told you that you look like Steph Curry?" And I was like, "No, I don't know who that is." At the time, I didn't know who that was. And he's like, "He's a basketball player. You should look him up. You look just like him." And I'm like, "Okay."
Just like him.
And then I'm going through my day and I pass kids in the hallway and they're like, "Hey, you look like Steph Curry." And they're like, "Hey, is that Steph Curry?" Like multiple kids throughout the whole day. Like it became a thing. If
That's
you see the
hilarious.
sub, tell him he looks like Steph Curry. And then when I got out of school, I Googled Steph Curry and I'm like, "Oh, he's a different race than me. He's clearly not me." And they were making fun of me for being short because Steph Curry is known for being short.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at a photo of Steph Curry right now, and I do see it.
Yeah,
I see it.
really?
Yes, I see it. But that's the thing. I don't know if they were just trying to make jokes, at your expense, or what. I would have leaned into it and been like, "You know it." Like,
I kind of did a little bit. I kind of
Yeah.
instinctively just leaned into it without really totally getting the joke. I
'cause
did
what else could you
instinctively.
do?
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of how I played it off. Thus concludes fun facts.
very, very good fun facts this episode. Thank you. But do you hear something? I hear like a gentle island breeze rolling
Oh.
through my room.
Oh, is that a gentle Yes, I do hear that.
Oh yeah. Must be time for Does It Work?
It's time for this one.
Oh, nice.
Does it work?
So, so I think in general, I believe that we both think this works, but what was your general, what was the take that your audience in your theater had?
So when I went to see the movie, I was sitting in the same row as an elderly man, probably a grandpa, and a little girl, probably his granddaughter. And at the end of the movie, as they were getting up, the grandpa said, "Well, that's definitely different," which that's old people speak for "I didn't like it."
Yes. Yeah, it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
When a grandparent says that, that means they didn't like it.
Yeah.
So
they couldn't find any other good things to say about it. Thank
So
you,
that
Grandpa.
one old guy at the theater, I think, wasn't digging it, but I liked it a lot. I think that this worked. I think it's an animated sports movie, and it makes me feel the way sports movies make me feel, where like you want to get on your feet and cheer, and you want to go do something with your dang life.
That's true. Yeah, it's a very motivating movie. It does make you want to cheer like the whole time. I think the whole audience was invested. My son, who I brought to the theater with me, was invested the whole time. Usually he's pounding snacks. Usually he's got like 5 different bags of snacks and he's just one after the other. Come on. He only ate 2 different snacks this entire time.
Wow.
And so I was like, and he really like, he didn't want to stop watching the movie to open the bag.
Cool.
Yeah, so he was invested. He enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. So, in my theater, like everybody was very invested in it. Like I said, my kid was very invested in it. And in general, like it was, everybody was applauding at specific moments. People applauded at the end when the credits started rolling. I think everybody really loved it. I really loved it. So, in general, I think it's a clear-cut case here that it does work. It definitely works.
It works.
I have my little issues with it, like I mentioned. Just like it'd be nice to have a main character with some flaws and so a little bit of that, but like I think your point stands very well, that it's like the team is growing together.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think that it worked. I felt great watching it. I'll go ahead and give it a score of an 8.5.
Okay.
I liked the story. The voice actors were, for the most part, really well cast. The visuals were excellent, and I think it's totally rewatchable. Sports movies in general are. Like, if you want that, like, pick me up. Like, you can watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, is that the scientific calculated one, or is it your gut?
That is the scientifically calculated one. That's I used the chart.
Good. So, but I do want to know what was your gut reaction score?
So I was gonna say 7.5, and I was
okay. I think that's just your go-to, honestly.
Oh, is that right?
It's your go-to. Go.
I was gonna say 7.5 because I'm like, how good is it compared to Goofy movie? And like I don't want to do it that way, but that's kind of how I'm thinking. I'm like, well, I gave Goofy movie a 9 or whatever. I gave Goofy movie an 8.
We haven't rated Goofy movie yet. Not officially.
Okay. Oh no, but we did a goof. We did the not just a goof.
Not just a goof.
I gave Lilo and Stitch a 7.5. So now I'm like, is it better than Lilo and Stitch? It's because it's not better than Lilo and Stitch. It's not. But I gave
Lilo and Stitch is a perfect 10.
I gave Lilo and Stitch a 7.5, and I'm giving this an 8.5. But I think Lilo and Stitch is better. So I don't know. Reconcile yourself with that.
I don't know. You're gonna have to talk to God when you show up at the pearly gates.
He's gonna be like, explain this situation with Lilo and Stitch.
If I followed my rubric, my scientific rubric, which in this case I am not specifically following, because if it is, it would be like almost a perfect 10. I think, there's a little bit of room for improvement. I'm not going to give it a perfect 10. It's not like over the top. It's not a masterpiece. You know what I mean? Like I do consider Lilo and Stitch a masterpiece. It is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. This I am giving a 9 out of 10. I do think there are some little flaws that can be tightened up, I guess one of the flaws for you is the character Moto. So you could have used that as a negative. But overall, just a great experience. Like, I think, the whole dream big, there's a lot of inspirational messages here that you can take out of it. Dream big. There's, just because you're small doesn't mean you can't do great things. Just, the teamwork aspect of it. There's all these great things that come with, a good sports movie. But overall, beautiful artwork, beautiful animation. It's an inspiring story. And one of the things that's very important to me is that it felt like a complete story. I didn't feel like there were parts missing. I thought there were good, fluctuations and ups and downs in like the emotional impact. So overall, like it felt complete to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with everything that you said. It's simple. It's a simple movie, but it does everything that it's trying to do very well. It's just, it's not a masterpiece. Like, that's why I'm not giving it a 10. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm excited to show my son. I didn't bring my son because he's a little for the theater experience, but he would have loved it. especially in 3D. But maybe I'll take him. Maybe I'll take him in a couple of weeks. Maybe I'll take him.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun movie for kids too, and that's one of the things I didn't even mention too. Is like the camera work is awesome. Like the way what they do with the virtual camera, it's got momentum. It really brings you into the actual, like you were talking about, like the way the sport is portrayed is exciting. And not only that, but like the camera angles are very intentional. Like when you see a large character, you're seeing it from Will's point of view. He's a small character and you're seeing it from his point of view, and they look towering, you know?
Yeah.
So you're getting storytelling through those visuals. Very much impressed by that. And they did what they should have done. They did what they had to do. And that's the thing too. This is a very good movie, and it could have been a lot worse, you know?
Yes, you're right. I assumed this was going to be the bad version. I had the bad version in my head where it was like, here's Steph Curry. Here's the crib notes of Steph Curry's life. But he's a goat and there's animal jokes. That's kind of what I thought it was going to be. And it wasn't that. And I'm relieved.
Yes. Well, I think we've, exhausted this topic here today, but that does it here for us on GOAT. And, next we'll be probably talking about hoppers, I think. And we got some other stuff in the works, some new things. So keep an eye out, take a like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll be in your feed soon.
And go Thorns.
Go Thorns, yeah. Roots run deep. Roots run deep.
Roots run deep. Roots run deep. Always, man.
Roots run deep.
Roots run deep. Let's go.
DadToons, grab a snack and you can sit down. Watch some daddies talking about animation now. Tell you what they like and what they also didn't too. DadToons about to hit you with a great review. Hey!